So JaleelWhite, A.K.A. Urkel, says if it ain't a hood show, it ain't a black show, and he feels left out. If there's ever a poll where Martin's in there, Living Singles in there, he knows that Family Matters is coming in last, and that if there's ever a poll for the favorite family show, he knows that Family Matters will be ranked up high in there. And my thing on it is this: Family Matters is a good show in its own regard. I grew up watching Family Matters and Steve Urkel on TV. You can't compare Family Matters with Martin and the Living Single, because if you ask me, Family Matters was based geared more towards young people, kids and the youth watch Family Matters. You know what I mean? Because I can even remember some of my cousins having a Steve Urkel doll at the time. So Steve Urkel was a big thing. Now, Steve Urkel might have not resonated with um, older black people, young black people, young adult black people, because it was geared more towards the youth. And comparing the two is like comparing, apples and oranges. You can't compare Family Matters to a show like Martin and, Living Single, which were phenomenal shows, Martin and Living Single, though, because I grew up watching them also, but you can't compare them. And come to find out, Family Matters didn't even have no black writers. You know what I mean? It was written by the dominant white society, so they didn't really have no black themes in their things that the black community could relate to. And it's also, to my knowledge, I could be wrong though, that Steve Urkel was the first black boy that they ever put in a dress. You know what I mean? And yeah, and you know, Martin and things were just a little bit more relatable to older people. And Martin and things were, and the Living Single were in a class all by themselves. You can't compare, the two. But we liked it, Urkel. Growing up, I liked it, Urkel. And he was a big thing back there at the time. And but him saying that if it ain't a hood show, it ain't a black show. I want to touch more on that aspect because I don't know what this brother's talking about. JaleelWhite is my brother, but he's extremely detached from FBA society, if you ask me, and this probably comes from him laying with that Becky. But yeah, he's detached from FBA society because despite the narrative that's coming down from the dominant white society, what they want to push in the media and things like that, all black people don't like no damn hood and ratchetness. You know what I mean? That's what uh, the dominant white society, white supremacists tell themselves that all we are is hood, ratchetness. All our brothers is out there slanging drugs, and all our sisters is out there shaking ass, which can't be further from the truth. And they want to show that, to say that this is all you are, this is all you'll ever be, and this is the kind of, you know, thing they want to put out there on our society to the world. They want this thing to be, so society can view our people in that lens, which couldn't be further from the truth. And our brother JaleelWhite, I say that you go back and, research some of your FBA history because we had inventors, cultural icons, innovators, cultural innovators, you know what I mean, and freedom fighters. We had a whole host of things in FBA society. We're much more than hood stuff. That's just what the dominant white society wants to perpetuate, and put onto our culture. You know what I mean? Because the dominant white society likes to show black folks two ways. They like to show brothers being hoods, selling drugs, banging on one another, and they like to show our sisters, um, just being revealing, showing a lot of skin, bending it over, dropping it down, busting it open like it's hot. And this just ain't true. This just ain't our culture because despite the narrative that they want to push in the dominant white society, we got a lot of black families out here who are like the Winslows and who are like the Huxtables. Why you think Family Matters and the Cosby Show did so good? We actually got families out here like that, that are sticking together, raising up black kids, black man and woman, that dynamic, you know what I mean? We got a lot of families out here like that, despite the narrative that the dominant white society want to push. This is why it's very important that, we as black people control the media. Because when we control the media, we control the way that they portraying us, where they ain't just showing us in a downgraded state in a negative light, showing our underbelly, because we as black people like to see a little bit of hood and ratchetness, but everything got to be in balance. You know what I mean? Just the same way all other societies and groups of people like to see that, but it got to be balanced and it can't just be negativity consistently perpetuated when it comes to us. There got to be a balance. We like a balance in things because, despite what they want to push, we as black folks are really wholesome, good people, you know what I mean, that want to raise families and that are raising families, getting up, going to work every day. So that hood nonsense that they want to push, that's more so for the dominant white society to feel good. The point too, this is black culture. And if black kids are consistently seeing that, negative images of black people on TV to the untrained mind, this gets in their mind and they start to buy into this. This is why it's necessary that we control black media outlets. And, when we got black people out here that's, got a YouTube page that are pushing something contrary to the narrative, when we got real black grassroots media such as myself, it's necessary for us as a black collective to get out here and support them. You know what I mean? And, support anything black that's, counteracting that negative stereotypical propagated image that they want to show to the masses and say this is what black society is. So I got the audio and the video of our brother, JaleelWhite. He's still my brother, but I just think he's a little bit, detached, and he's wrong, certainly wrong on saying that, if it ain't a hood story, it ain't a black story. And we're gonna walk through and talk about it how we normally do. Fair use. Just a second, family.
In the pantheon of part of the TGIF brand sometimes.
Oh no, that's the wrong one, family. Hold on. Sorry about that. Here we go.
Sometimes makes you feel being a part of the TGIF brand sometimes makes you feel like you don't completely belong in the pantheon of blackness. Blackness has been treated as a very monolithic experience in entertainment. If it's not a hood story, it's not a black story.
Stop right there. I gotta disagree with you, my brother. If it's not a hood story, it's not a black story. This is what comes down from the dominant white society. This is a fantasy they got in their mind that all black people are running around with guns, killing off one another, selling drugs to one another, and our women dropping it down and shaking it like it's hot. This comes from them. Not all black folks want to see that stuff, and if you do show it, it got to be in more balance, because sometimes we watch that kind of stuff just like every group of people in society. But why is ours propagated more? Because this is to put in our young one's mind that this is all you are, this is all you ever be. Because to the untrained mind, if you show them things, more often than not, you could get them to buy in. You could get them to buy into what you're showing them. So this is why I even got my platform, doing black grassroots media, where I'm getting to put out, something that's counteracting the negative stereotypical stuff coming down from the dominant white society. Because we ain't got no black media outlets out there that's representing us. We had BET, but BET ain't even black no more. So it's just necessary for black people to control our own media outlets, because in controlling the media, you get to show the way that you're perpetuated to the world. But let's continue.
And sometimes I feel left out of that. So it's like, like if there's ever a poll and they say, oh, what are your favorite black shows? And, Martin is in there, or Living Single, or any of those guys, I already know we coming in last.
And Family Matters was a good show. Like I said, I grew up on it. Used to have kids in the neighborhood playing around and acting like they were Steve Urkel. My cousins even had Steve Urkel doll. He was a major thing at the time. So yeah, it ain't like Family Matters wasn't good, but like I said, it's like comparing apples to oranges. More younger people watched Family Matters, Steve Urkel, while more older people watched Martin and then Living Single. And you even had young people as well. That's why, Martin and then Living Single were in a class all by themselves. You can't compare it to that. But let's continue.
There's ever a poll and it's just like your favorite family shows, and suddenly Martin's not in there or whatever, all of a sudden we rank really high. And so it's kind of interesting in how we look at ourselves, to be quite honest, even as black folks. And somehow I became a symbol for black male nerd culture, to be quite honest. I mean, I know this for a fact. Any brother that grew up in the 80s and 90s and 2000s wearing glasses, he was told at school he looked like me. He was called Urkel. And he didn't look anything like me, guaranteed. but still, his peers would find.
Okay, family. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that to the light in the forefront. I don't know if any of the family caught that. I just came across the video, so I decided, to speak on it with our brother JaleelWhite, saying that if it ain't a hood show, it ain't a black show. But in closing, this is more coming down from the dominant white society to keep this negative stigma on us as all black men are hoodlums and all black women are ghetto or ratchet and dropping it like it's hot, which just ain't the truth, and it couldn't be it, and it's the farthest thing from the truth. Our people have greatness inside of them. You got a lot of foundational black Americans who are extraordinary people raising families and doing what they got to do, and we, truth be told, like to see more of this on TV. It's just that we don't control enough of the media to where though we could counteract the negative stereotypes they put out. But also in closing, some black folks do like to see a little bit of ratchetness and hood stuff, just like any group of people do. You know what I mean? But why is ours propagated so much? You know what I mean? There got to be a balance, because before there used to be a balance on TV, more of a balance. And even in the music, because they show us one way in the music as well. This goes to the music as well. This is why I said we got to control everything so we can control the way that we portrayed out there to the world. Just my thoughts on the matter, but our brother JaleelWhite was absolutely wrong on this one. Peace.